now you're live. But there's a delay. I don't see you yet, but there's a delay. Oh, I gotta shut the radio. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, I see. Okay.
Hello, everybody. This is David Rhodes here to talk to you tonight a little bit about investing with your IRA. Particularly, I'm going to be talking about investing with self-directed IRA and giving you some examples that I've used in my self-directed IRA. But before I get started, what I like to tell everybody is that I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm none of those. So I would suggest that whatever you hear tonight, that you can check it out. Just make sure that it is legit and that you always get it checked out, double checked through your custodian or broker or whatnot. The reason I chose this subject tonight was just in the last, I don't know, last three to 4 months, I've done more and more deals out of my IRA, and I've just kind of enjoyed doing those deals, and it's been fun. So I'm using, when I'm doing the deals that I'm doing right now is with my self-directed Roth IRA. There are more than just self-directed Roth IRAs. There's traditional IRAs that are self-directed, there's SEP IRAs, and there's other things that you can do with IRAs, but I'm going to particularly talk about self-directed Roth IRA because that's what I'm using. And a self-directed Roth IRA is self-directed, so self meaning me. I direct my IRA. I have money with a custodian. My custodian happens to be Advana IRA Services. But there's other custodians out there. I know, I think Equity Trust is one, and there's a few more out there. I'm not really sure. But I have mine with Advana, and the reason I have mine with Advana is because they're local, they're easy to deal with, and I have some other investor friends that have their money with Advana, so it's easy to do deals and stuff together. But so I'm working with my self-directed Roth. Self-directed meaning I direct the custodian and what to do with it, what to do with my money. Roth IRA is a tax-free IRA that as long as you do the processes right, you can do deals inside of your IRA and make money, and you won't get charged any taxes for it, as long as you don't deduct the money until you're 59 and a half, and you have to have the IRA for at least 5 years, and you have to follow protocol when you do deals inside of your IRA. But luckily, when you have a custodian like Advana, they do most of the work for you. You just tell them what kind of deals you're looking for, and they help you get the paperwork and everything organized and put together, and you sign off on it, and then the deals just come together. But you can do all kinds of things in your IRA. You know, traditional things you do in your IRA is a lot of people purchase properties like single-family homes, apartment buildings, multi-family homes, tax liens, commercial properties, trust deeds, tenant in common. So I'm probably missing some things, but they're very common uses for your IRA. But what I want to talk to you tonight about some things that are probably not so common and not people don't think about that you can use your IRA for. First of all, there's not too many transactions that you can't use an IRA for, just real estate transactions. Almost any real estate transaction out there, you can use an IRA. But tonight I'm going to particularly talk about wholesaling with your IRA, talk about options with your IRA, talk about down payments on properties with your IRA, notes and mortgages with your IRA, and loans with your IRA. You can give loans, but you also can receive loans, and I'll give you some examples of those. But what I like to talk about is really, it's really interesting and fun to me is wholesaling with your IRA. And it's pretty simple. And hopefully everybody I'm talking to tonight are seasoned investors and know what I mean when I say wholesaling a property. If you're not, you can check that out. But I'm just going to talk about wholesaling. So if I got a couple of deals that I did with my IRA that I used during a wholesale process, and I used the same technique on both of them. And there's really no difference between using your IRA and wholesaling and doing it without your IRA, except for, let me back up. First of all, these wholesale deals were both deals that I were buying from a person. I did not lock these up on MLS. These were, I sat down in front of the person, I negotiated these deals. So this is where I was buying it directly from the homeowner. It was not an MLS, there was no brokers involved. So when I wrote the contract up, instead of putting my name in as me as the buyer or my company as an LLC as the buyer, I just simply put my IRA in as a buyer. And my IRA is something goes, the name of my IRA is something, Havana IRA Services, for David Rhodes account number. And that's how the buyer was. And then everything else is done the same. Then I put escrow money down, $100. Both deals, I put $100 down on these deals, and my IRA paid that. So once I had the contract put together, then I was ready to wholesale the deal. And now I wholesale both those deals. I put $100 down on each one of them. So $100. One was a $5,000 deal, one was a $15,000 deal. Put $100 down. So my IRA put $100 down payment to hold the deal. I signed the contract, and my IRA was funded at closing. One was $5,000 and one was $15,000. Probably some people are probably asking why I did that. Why didn't I just take the cash? Well, I did it for a few reasons. First of all, I was fortunate enough I didn't need the cash. So, but the biggest thing was if I would have took the total of $20,000 as a wholesale deal, I'd have been taxed dramatically on that. Somewhere between, I don't know, 30 to 50% taxes is what you'd be taxed on a wholesale deal when you're doing a lot of them. So what I was trying to do is avoid that tax consequences. So I didn't need the cash right now. So I let that money go back into my IRA. I'm not going to draw it out. So I was able to put $20,000 in my IRA that I could use to make money on other deals. And I simply did it just to avoid the taxes. So that was an example of wholesaling with your IRA. And I don't know if anybody out there has done wholesaling with your IRA, but it's a fun thing to do when you turn $100 into, or $200 into $20,000. That's pretty interesting. I'll stop here for a second, see if anybody's got any questions. If not, then we'll just keep moving on to some other deals, fun deals you can do with your IRA. If you got any questions, just shoot, but I'm gonna keep talking. All right, so another thing that you can do with your IRA, and a lot of people don't think about it, is you can purchase options with your IRA. And an option is simply, again, well, hopefully I'm talking to most experienced people here, but if not, we probably know what lease options are. And it's the same thing. You could purchase that option with your IRA. And I did a deal where we put an option on a property to purchase the property. And this deal, we put an option. Wait, let me back up. The guy who owned the property was rehabbing the property. He needed $18,000 to finish the deal. He had about $150,000 in it, $160,000 in it. He needed 18 to finish it so he could sell the property to retail for $350 or so. He needed it done in a short. He was going to get it done in 6 to 8 weeks. So we did an option on the property for 6 months. We gave him $18,000. And the option read that when he sold the property, we would get back $28,000. So we turned $18,000 into $28,000. That option was just fulfilled last week. I did that with another partner who brought that to me, another friend of mine, investor. Networking is great. We both used our IRAs to do that. We were able to fund that deal. We both got back a good chunk of change there. A really good deal. But you can use your IRA on, if you have somebody's got a property their lease option, and you can use your IRA to buy that option and then lease that property through your IRA. So that's another fun thing you can do with your IRA. A lot of people don't think about. We probably know about notes and mortgages that you can give out. Somebody's got a property, it's worth $100, they need $50,000. You can create a mortgage form, so you get a note and mortgage, you can hold that in your IRA. And you can turn around, you can sell those note and mortgages later on. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Talk about another deal that I did. It's not involves an IRA, but it's pretty creative that you can use note and mortgages for. Down payments. You find an owner who's selling a house, they want down payment, where you can your IRA can fund that down payment. Say if somebody's selling a house for $100,000 cash, or they would finance it with $20,000 down, 6%, 15 years or 30 years. Well, you can use your IRA instead of, if you had $100,000 in your IRA, you don't have to pay the whole $100,000. You could pay the $20,000 that they're willing to accept, and then hold that property in your IRA with $20,000 down, and then let your property collect the rent payments, and then your property would just pay back the mortgage. So you can use instead of buying a property straight out, you use it as a down payment also. So that's very, very good thing you can use your IRA. Here's something that I just learned here recently. And anytime I learn something, I try to share it. And I didn't know this, and because I've only been dealing with my IRA now for about a year or so, and I've been able to get it going good. But I had a friend of mine who had $14,000, and she cashed out some stock, and she wanted me to invest it for her. So I told her, I said, all right, what I want you to do is go put it in a Vanna IRA. So I gave her the instructions to call a Vanna IRA. She got with him. She got her money into a Vanna IRA. Now she had this $14,000 just sitting there. Well, but going through real estate meetings and networking, I had met this guy who had bought this house over in right here in St. Pete, and he had got owner financing on it. I think the terms was something like $60,000 with $5,000 down, carry the rest at 6% for 15 years, which is really good owner financing. So he bought the house, good deal. Then he put like $15,000 in the house, maybe $20,000, somewhere in that range. He was all in somewhere around 70, 75. And he was going to flip it to retail. I went and looked at the property, look at maybe trying to help him flip it to retail. And when we ran the numbers on it, the problem was the property was only worth $70,000 to $75,000. So if he were to flip it to retail, he was not going to make any money whatsoever. And it's great financing on his property. So I offered him, I think I offered him $20,000 to take half ownership of that property. And we negotiated back and forth. We came to $22,000. And I wanted to buy this property in my IRA, but I did not have $22,000 in my IRA. I think I had $9,000 in my IRA, something like that. So I called my custodian, talked to him, and asked him about, could my IRA borrow money from another IRA? And he said, sure you can. I had no idea. So what I learned was that your IRA actually can borrow money. But when you borrow money, when an IRA borrows money, you have to borrow it as a non-recourse loan. And that's called a non-recourse loan. You can look that up and see what that means. But I was able to take that $14,000 that I had my friend put into a Vanna. She had $14,000 sitting there that she had pulled out of the stock market because it sucked. I was able to she lent me the money, my IRA the money. So I got the money together. We put the deal together. Now my IRA owns half ownership of that property. It will pay off in 15 years. In 15 years from now, the property is probably worth about 75 now. 15 years from now, I would suspect it'd be worth 100 to 120, somewhere in that range. But when it pays off, my IRA is going to own half ownership of that. And the time I put this deal together, my IRA had $9,000 in it. So I'm going to take that $9,000 and I'm going to turn it into somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 in 15 years. And along the way, I'm collecting payments because my IRA owns half ownership of that property. It's collecting payments along the way. So when the rent comes in, he manages the property, by the way. And he manages the property. The property had a mortgage on it through a homeowner, which he had to contact and make sure it was okay for me to come on as his partner. They approved it. It was fine. We went to closing just like you would do a traditional closing. We closed the property. Now on title is his company LLC and my IRA, and he manages everything. Like when you got property inside your IRA or any investments, you can't mess with them. He manages it. He collects the rents. Once the rents are collected, the insurance is paid, the mortgage is paid, money gets escrowed for taxes, and then he splits it up. He takes half, and then he sends half to my IRA. My IRA takes that money in, pays back the loan that it took, and I'm cash flowing that deal probably about $80 a month. So I'm getting $80 a month on top of 15 years from now, I'm gonna own half of a property, or if I choose to sell it between now and then. But that's something very, very interesting that I did not know, and I thought it was pretty unique. So that's something you can look up, put it in the search bar, check it out online, see about loans and IRAs. And I'm talking about just deals I've done. I know there's a lot of other deals out there you could do in your IRA, but what I've found out working with your IRA is if you think of something that you think it might work with your IRA or somebody else's money, your IRA, then call the custodian. Custodian being Havana. I have my IRA sitting in Havana. Well, my custodian is a guy called Alex. And anytime I got a question, anything I need to know, I just shoot Alex an email, or I call Alex and I talk to him about it. We discuss it. He tells me what I can and I can't do. He gets me the paperwork I need to do. But if you got any questions about anything, or you think you come up with something, you get creative, just call him and ask him. Ask him, can you do it? So, that's really all I got to cover on self-directed IRAs.
So we've got a couple questions.
Okay, I answered a question that I want to tell you all about a real fun deal I did that doesn't involve your IRAs.
So the first question is from Kelly, asking, are there any drawbacks to using self-directed IRA for real estate deals?
Well, there's always some drawbacks and everything, but it depends on, the biggest drawback is, well, there's a few drawbacks. One that I see the drawbacks is if you need money right now, like cash right now, when you use your self-directed IRA and you do wholesale deals or whatever, you buy a property to rent, you're not getting that cash. Your IRA is getting it back. So that's one of the downfalls. Another thing is you have to be hands off. If your IRA owns a piece of property and you're renting that piece of property, you can't touch the property. You can't turn a screw. You can't change a light bulb. It has to be properly managed. So everything has to be done with your hands off. Now, some people might look at that as good, but others may look at it as bad. But that's two of the things that I could see. Nicole, you might think of some other things that.
You have to be careful who you invest with when it comes to family members.
Oh yeah, and there is definitely, before you can do any, and this is all you're going through your custodian can help you with all this. When it comes to investing with your IRA, you can invest with certain family members. I think there's linear, as long as it's linear, you can invest, right?
So parents and children.
So parents, children, you can invest with them when it comes to IRA. So there's just some stipulations that you got to understand. Once you understand those stipulations, there's a lot of stuff you can do with your IRA. Great tax benefits. I mean, Roth IRA is, I love it. You know, I really like it.
We have another question. Would you recommend using a self-directed IRA for fix and flip?
Yes. I mean, you can do loans out of self-directed IRA. I don't know if you're not talking about doing the flip yourself. I guess you're talking about using somebody else's money. First, you have to clarify, are we talking about you doing the flip? Are we talking about using somebody else's money to do the flip? Or are you lending on the flip? What are we talking about?
There's a delay, so you may want to go through each scenario.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna give you, if you are lending on a flip, somebody told me one time, if you're lending on a piece of property, you're probably better off getting collateral on another piece of property they own. That being said, if you're lending on a flip, you need to make sure that the numbers work and you need to make sure you're secured. Don't ever lend on a property that you don't want to own. That's my advice on lending. If you flip it, you can't use your IRA and flip it yourself. That's against the rules. You can't do that. But if you're lending on that.
Yeah, so they said yes, it would be Kelly doing the flip.
She would be flipping and she'll be getting the money from somebody else. You can't use your IRA to purchase a property and you work on it. That's against the rules. If you do that, you jeopardize the money in your IRA. You can't do that. So that would say no. I would not recommend you taking money out of your IRA to buy a property to flip, if you plan on doing the work yourself. Now, if you're going to hire it all out, let somebody manage it for you. Your IRA's got enough money to buy the property, do the full rehab without you getting involved whatsoever, then that may be. I would look for a partner, what I would try to do on that. Let somebody else do all the work. I'd put a partner between me and the rehab and lend the money to the rehab. Let the partner do the work. You just lend the money. And then you become an equity partner on it, where when the property sells, you get so much and they get so much. It's just how you structure it.
Okay.
All right. Now, this next deal, it has nothing to do with IRAs, but I was thinking about this deal because I just put it together. It's pretty interesting. So this is how I'm going to have to give you some backstory about how we put this deal together. So about 2.5 years ago, we bought a piece of property and that had a mobile home on it, paid $16,000 for it, put 4 in it, so we had 20 in it. We sold that mobile home for $50,000. We took $5,000 down, and then we mortgaged the property to the buyer. So we became the bank. So at that time, we took $5,000 down. We went to closing. They bought the property. They own the property. We are the bank. We own the note and mortgage. They paid every single payment on time for 2.5 years, never missed a beat. Paid every single time. About a year after that, we bought a property in Tampa for $13,000, put 4 in it, and we sold that for $56,000 with $8,000 down on a lease option. They gave us $8,000 down, paid us $800 a month. Every month, at the end of 60 payments, the property becomes theirs. We had 2 pieces of paper that were paying us, a note and a lease option that were paying us. The reason I'm telling you about these is because I used those 2 pieces of paper to purchase a property. So you can create lease options, you can create notes and mortgages to buy properties. I just put this deal together. I just closed on this property about 3 weeks ago. I had a friend of mine who he owned this property in his IRA, and he wanted to get it out of his IRA, but he wanted cash. He wanted income to come in. These two, he wanted cash flow. These 2 pieces of paper are producing $13.50 a month. So we went to closing. I bought the property for $105,000, but I didn't take 1 dime with me. I took those 2 pieces of paper with me. I signed those 2 pieces of paper to him at closing. So at closing, instead of giving cash or wiring funds, I brought these pieces of paper with me and I signed the money, the rights to him. Now he collects the money every month, and I own a property that's worth, it's probably worth about 120 right now. I've got it listed on the MLS for 118.5. I plan on selling that property for no less than 110. But the reason I'm telling you this deal is because you can get creative. You can create these notes and mortgages, and you can use them to buy a property. Now, the property that I bought 2.5 years ago, we have got both those properties. We've got every dime with the down payment and the payments that we've received. We got every dime back, but we were able to trade those for that piece of property. Now we're going to sell. We should get $110,000 for it. We'll reinvest that money. It's a win-win for him. He wanted cash flow. I want money to buy properties, so I'm able to take that property, sell that property, and make some cash. But the reason I'm telling you that is just there's more ways to do deals in real estate than just cash and IRA. If you put some stuff together, you can put some deals together. So anybody else got any questions out there? Hit me with them. That's cool. Well, I didn't plan on being on long tonight. I just want to share a little bit about investing with the IRA. But if people out there who are not investing with the IRA, people who are investing with the IRA, or people, they know people who have money. I get people a lot of times asking me, I got this money sitting over here. What do I do with it? And when they ask me that, I'm pretty confident now that I'll direct them to me personally. I'll direct them to Havana. And I've directed at least 3 people in the last 3 months to Havana with money who want to lend me the money. I send them over to Havana so they'll cash out their stocks, so they're retiring. They got some money. I get them to put it in Havana, and then I'll go to work and try to put deals together for people with their IRA where they can make some money, but then I can use the money. So if you should search your local market, find out if somebody's local. You already might have a custodian that you're working with. Study up on IRAs. It's very easy. You can go to Havana, go to their website. You can pull up. They got an ebook on investing in real estate, and that's Advanta, ADVANTA, IRA services. Go right to their website, check it out. They got a little ebook you can read. Very, very good information on investing in real estate.
We did get a question. Any difference between using a regular IRA and a Roth IRA?
Yes, there are differences between using, you're talking about a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. So as I mentioned earlier, a Roth IRA is tax free, meaning when you open that Roth IRA, you put that money in there, it was already taxed. So if you take $10,000 to $100,000, as long as you keep it inside your IRA and you follow protocol, you do everything correctly, at 59 and a half, and you've had the IRA at least 5 years, at 59 and a half, you can start drawing off that $100,000 that you made from 10 to 100 with no tax consequence whatsoever. A traditional IRA is tax deferred. So if you got money in a traditional IRA, when it's time to start drawing it out at 59 and a half, the theory is your tax bracket will be lower than it is now, so you won't be taxed as high as you were now when you're younger. So in a traditional IRA, you will still be taxed, but hopefully at a lower bracket when you're older. So yes, there are definitely differences between traditional IRAs and Roth. If you don't have a Roth IRA, I think depending on your age, you can put somewhere between $5,000 and $6,500 to start one a year. I would recommend getting one started and try to start doing deals and making them happen inside your Roth and try to make them grow. That's all tax free. Okay. All right, guys.
The only other thing I would like to add is Advanta's not the only one out there, and David's not getting paid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
I use Equity Trust. Gina uses Mountain West. So there's plenty out there.
Okay.
It's just whoever you know and whoever's in your circle, your power team circle.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier. I use Advanta because they're local to me. They're easy to meet, contact. I know other investors in it, but Equity Trust, Mountain West, there's several of them. You just got to check out which one you want to use. And I hadn't heard any bad things about any of them. I just chose them because they were local for me and easy to get to. That's the only reason I chose. I'm not getting paid. They don't even know I'm on here talking about them. So. But I enjoy working with them. Make it pretty easy for me. Okay. I know that was short and sweet tonight, but hopefully y'all took some tidbits out of that, and you can go make some money with your IRA or get somebody else to lend you some money on your IRA. I know it's always fun when I put deals together in my IRA and just see the money flow in and flow out. But if you got one other tidbit I want to tell you, I heard this from an old timer. If you got money sitting down in your IRA, it's not making any money. You got to get it out there. You got to get that money invested somehow, some way. You got to get it making money for you. It's better making 4% than no percent. I mean, hopefully you can do better than that. I've done way better than that in my IRA, but you got to get your money. Your IRA should be most of the time close to zero balance. You have money coming in, you get it back out. You have money come in, you get it back out. If you're sitting on a wad of cash in your IRA, you're killing yourself. you got to get that money invested.
And when you're looking for private money lenders, and remind them of that, and especially now downturn in the market, it's a good time to find a bunch of private money lenders, because everybody's scared of what's going on.
Yep. People investing their stocks are probably going to start turning their money, cashing out and moving into IRAs. So this should be a good flux of cash. You can use your IRA for more than investing in just real estate, but we're talking about real estate, so just want to give you a few things that we've done. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, I'm going to call it a night, short and sweet tonight. Maybe we'll see you next time. If I can help in any way, you can always email me, David at rehqzone.com. Be more than happy to help anybody with anything, no matter what it is, the real estate. We've probably touched it. Again, it's David at rehq.com, or David Rhodes. You can look me up at Facebook.
rehqzone.com.
Oh, I'm sorry, David at rehqzone.com. But I'm always happy to help anybody with anything. Any questions, you can shoot me a line, and I'll be more than happy to answer. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Good
Bye.
night.